Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is going to be our finals for Red Riot Games event for the Echo Secret Lab chair, along with some store credit. I am joined by Max, and then we will be jumping into this game.
As much as I liked casting with you today, I gotta say I am very jealous that we are not able to play in this event because that is one sweet chair. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is as a big arcane guy, I'm a huge fan of Echo. I know that this is the kind of prizing that I would definitely be interested in playing for. So big thank you to the host Red Riot Games for putting together such a cool tournament with such cool and unique prizing for sure. I'm very interested to see what these players will be playing for in the future. But for today, we do see that our finals is going to be Master Yi and Sett. A little bit different than the finals of tournaments that we used to seeing, which is normally either Master Yi versus Kaisa or like a Kaisa mirror. But we do know that in North America, Canada, of course, included, Sett has been super popular. And it's cool to see that this is representing the finals. So we do start off with the Master Yi player, who sadly is just able to play down these Zonias and pass before passing it back to the Sett player, who can only do first mate and pass. Passing it back to Master Yi, who ramps with Catalyst of Aeons and then passes it back to the Sett player once again.
Yeah, seeing the Kylos come down, you can imagine that this could be an Aurora variant. A lot of Yi, just traditional Yi lists are still on the Catalyst. It helps them ramp and stuff like that. It helps them, play excuse me, helps them play their chosen champion Yi while holding up stuff like On Guard or Defy. So it's a little bit interesting there. I can't imagine we have a response to this first mate coming in being
Oh no,
tapped out.
absolutely. Fully tapped out for sure. But we do see, I believe that is Monastery once again, which is really, really cool. I'm glad to see that Battlefield getting so much use. And we do see the Kiana come down. This card is absolutely fantastic in the orange decks. Very good into both Kaisa and Master Yi. Dodges things like Charm that could potentially be in a Master Yi deck. And of course, anything that Kaisa slams down with that deflect is really, really good. But like you were saying, we do see the chosen champion, Master Yi, come out, attempt to take out the first mate before being met with the hidden blade that is hidden at this battlefield. So we do see the Master Yi player has at least one up. So if he has the Defy, could be pretty good, but he might honestly, we do see the Defy.
Yeah.
You know, in a situation like this, would you have taken the two cards? Obviously, it would kill the Zonias, but you still get that two draw. But it seems like he was more or less just hungry for that conquer.
Yeah, I think I would have also slightly thought about hidden blading my own first mate there as well. Um,
True, that could have been good for sure.
Brawler Sett does really well at taking back battlefield. Not that we
Very
have
true.
Brawler coming in this turn, but maybe next turn we could have. If we didn't have the hidden blade, also we could have pushed Brawler with. If we
Mm.
had like a Showstopper, for example, we could have play Brawler, activate Brawler ability, go to 8, and then Showstopper into Yi, with him tapping out. You
I'm
know,
glad you mentioned the showstopper though. This could have been just like an elaborate plan to bait out the defies early, because obviously, one less defy that you have to worry about to guarantee that your showstoppers go through could be very, very strong later on in the game. But like you said, we do see the Brawler Sett come down after we did see the Kiana successfully conquer Vile Maw, allowing her to draw. And then Sett Brawler comes in buffed, and it looks like that is going to end the player for end the turn for Sett.
Yep, and this Vile Mode just being so good for Master Yi as it
Mhm.
does lock your opponent's units in there, but Yi with ganking can bypass that Vile Mode and just go back to Monastery.
Absolutely. For sure. And this set player is fully tapped out, and the Kiana is not buffed. So unless we do see the Call to Glory, spend the buff on the Sett to try and save the Kiana. It could be a little risky though, as Master Yi does have all of his runes active currently.
Yep. And if we do see that line, that line is heavily punished by one on guard plus a charm, because then you lose
Exactly.
your entire board for that. So we will see this
Absolutely.
coming. I imagine this Kiana would die. And I imagine we don't see a charm on this set unless we want to remove the buff, but we already have a Zonius in the back, so there's not too much need for it. I wouldn't think. I'm not the U
Mhm.
player, but I can't imagine it's too valuable here. But I
Yeah,
am
for
curious
sure.
as what we will see. Maybe a Poro. We still haven't decided whether we're on Aurora or traditional, as we've only played cards that could be played in both.
I would assume. Oh, yeah, it's very hard to gauge, but
Oh,
another Zonias is very interesting. I would assume because we have yet to see a low cost unit that this would be dazzling. I would assume if it was strictly ramp, we would see some type of low cost. But obviously, in the dazzling aurora decks, you will see less of those, just because obviously, if you hit a Poro of dazzling aurora, you're going to feel pretty bad. So I would assume that this is going to be the dazzling aurora variant.
Yeah, and then we will see. Yep, Sett going to monastery, trigger resolve the monastery before the Sett. Get the conquer, get the buff for back. This combo is bread and butter in Sett right now.
Absolutely.
But like we mentioned before, the Yi can just gank back over here, so will be interesting.
It's such a good chosen champion.
It's
So good.
good, yeah. So we'll have to see what Sett has to counteract that. We do have Call to Glories in Sett. We do have access to cards like Challenge. We could have ate the buff, moved the Sett over, and then tried to challenge the Yi. But then we do get punished by a pump spell, as our Sett would not have a buff at that point. Actually, no, we could have ate the buff and then gone to 9 with the new buff. So that would have been something to get one of those owners out of the way. But it looks like we were just going to hide presumably a Hidden Blade. This also could be a Pocket Cup, which is picking up popularity. I think this video was recorded before the Divine Judgment build for Sett kind of got, circulation. Yeah. So I wouldn't imagine this would be a Pocket Cup, but definitely a possibility.
I'm very interested. Well, not to deviate too much, but it's very interesting seeing Sett get so much hype with the Divine Judgment now. As obviously a few months ago, did you see the Deadloom Predator come down on the Master Yi player's side to try and combat this Sett? That being said, he does need to be a little careful, as there is a hidden card on this battlefield once again.
And then this deflect cost is going to go big on this Predator for just to come back to your base too. And something I just noticed is this Yi deck isn't full Chinese, so that's interesting.
As it being a game at a shop, I'm sure they're a little more lenient than if you played at a
So we did target our own Sett with the Hidden Blade,
and
then we charmed it. Oh, that feels rough. If we did try,
if I remember correctly, you're not able to draw if you save off of Sett, correct?
You are, because when Hidden Blade targets the Sett at the battlefield, Sett is still at the battlefield when it resolves, so it will still kill it and draw to you, and then afterwards it will save the Sett. So
I forget what I'm thinking about, but I know that there's like a weird interaction that prevents it.
You will not draw with stuff like Retreat, as Retreat puts it back in hand, and the Hidden Blade does not have a controller at that point. Or it can't find the controller. Ooh, Primal Strength. Unfortunately, just these Zonias just make it so hard.
Yeah, it's basically your attack. And what's crazy is he hasn't had to use them yet. He's just like established that first Zonias on turn 1 and has been just like able to control these battlefields and defend without needing to. And it looks like the same issue with this. We see the Unguard come down.
Unguard here.
Yeah. Very good.
So this is currently 11-10. I would imagine we have another pump spell if we slam the first on guard. Unless I'm doing math wrong. Oh no, we have the Yi ability. I always forget Yi ability. So this is 11.
It's kind of good. Kind of good. 2 might. Pretty good.
We will challenge. Okay. Okay.
Interesting. Okay. At least taking down one of them.
Yeah.
That being said, double Zonias.
Pop one of them.
Yep. Yeah, this feels just rough because theoretically the Sett player seems to be like hitting everything he needs to, but double Zonias is just nuts.
And if I'm the Sett player here, I think I just, I don't like to scoop too early, but I think we just scoop it up here, save time, go to next game.
No board. Your opponent still has a Zonia, in control of both battlefields, and you only have access to 4 runes.
This one.
I think it's acceptable to pack it up
for sure. And that's something that players are going to need, especially the players that don't come from other card games, coming into these events such as Houston and Orlando. Knowing when to concede and move to the next game to save time is going to be a big factor, especially when you're playing, so many Kaisa mirrors that go so long, and you can be in turn 7 and a Kaisa mirror and have 1 point.
Absolutely. Because even though if you lose the game 1, you can definitely come back and win games 2 and 3. That being said, you need to save the time for you to be able to do that and run your comeback. So definitely, it's definitely a skill to know when to call it quits and just move on to the next one.
Yep. So we did see a peak of Yi's sideboard. We saw triple sabotage, which I can imagine will come in because Sett is kind of spell reliant, not too much as in like a deck like Kaisa, but you know your showstoppers are very important. Call to Glory is a primal strength. Um, I would imagine that planks and just full hand knowledge is also vastly important. You know, the full hand knowledge might be better
Absolutely.
than ripping the card, honestly.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw it in a few rounds ago. Did see the sabotage come down and only pull out an unguard in a player's hand. I'm pretty positive he already knew that he definitely at least already knew the unguard was in there, but having all the information that he gained from seeing the remainder of that hand is definitely worth the one power, one energy cost.
For sure. I believe it was the Ari and Ali match, and the Ari
Yep.
had did the only spell in Ari's hand was on guard. So if you see that, you're in a pretty safe spot.
For sure. For
So
sure.
he looks like
For some reason. Oh, are we going in the sideboard again?
so like look how fast he is with this. Like you
Yeah.
can get so many shuffles in this way before you complete your pile shuffle, table shuffle, whichever method you would like to
Uh,
call it. And I just this is so much more random than a pile shuffle to me.
I will say, to be fair, just because, um, so I do have a podcast, and one of my co-hosts, he has never played physical card games before. He's only played card games online, and I didn't. As someone who's played card games since high school, I never realized this was an issue. A lot of new Riftbound players actually don't know how to shuffle, and it's apparently one of the more difficult aspects of the game for them because they do it with the cards a lot. Um,
you,
so it's something.
Yeah,
It's something.
you saw that on the Chinese streams too, because apparently
Yeah,
apparently card games are not too prevalent in China either. So
yeah,
you would see some people fumbling their cards a lot
yeah.
in that event. But it does look
All
like
right.
we are finally kicking off games or game two here. Um,
Obelisk and Windswept.
the Yi player reminding Set to shuffle his runes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, Now, Windswept is probably more beneficial to Set in this matchup, as Yi does just have ganking, as we saw
Mm-hmm.
last game, which you know we don't have the Vile Moss, so we can't abuse it quite as much as we did last game. But Yi is just a very good card.
Absolutely. That being said, though, with Set having Windswept, it does give him the ability to jump from Windswept to Obelisk, but the Set player still will have the ability to bounce back and forth. And we did see Deadbloom Predator come down and kind of really take control of that game. And he needs to be very careful because if Deadloom takes that Windswept, it could be very difficult for him to the Set player to maintain control of either of these battlefields going forward.
Yep. And we do see a catalyst start from the E player, which is very strong on the
Again, yeah,
Obelisk battlefield. And we do see
yeah,
both
absolutely.
people remembering the Obelisk trigger as well, because this is a missable trigger. So
Yep,
you
for
know
sure, for sure.
when your games are on Obelisk, when your games are on Arena's Greatest, please, you know, take the time to make sure you do remember that for your turn one, as it is very important.
Absolutely. We do see the Set player move into Windswept with his Cythria. The Master Yi player is completely tapped out, so it will be a successful conquer. And then we do see the Set brawler come out and be played into the base.
Yep, and this is such a strong start from Sett because you do establish
Mhm.
both. You do establish two units with your buffs on you. You can, if he does tap out for a Devlim here, you can put your brawler back into the Devlim to take a trade. You know, if he does hide as Zonia's, it's a little bit rough. I'm sorry, assuming he has any buffs in his hand, it's not a trade.
Mhm.
Or first mate to be able to like conquer the obelisk and then you know showstopper. Well, there are a couple things actually. So Yi thinking here, not in too much pressure. We can develop. I would imagine we don't want to play the Yi into the obelisk just to die to brawler the following turn.
Very interesting. So this is, I don't want to call it an issue with the ramp Master Yi list, but it seems like if you're trying to just all out ramp early on, you do of course give your opponent the window to set up against you. And some as good as it is to ramp up and be able to play into the big body units, giving your opponent time to set up to potentially respond immediately after could be a little rough. I think Set player still only on 4 runes. This deck is definitely on the more power hungry side, and that can be a scary matchup when you're facing down a Master Yi that is already at 8 runes and has a very easy chance to add even more.
Yep, and that's why we saw that. That was the whole reasoning. Besides the Divine Judgment picking up decks like Yi and Kai'Sa, who just hit really high rune count, and you can just neutralize the game after slamming a brawler. And you know, brawler in a simplified game state is so strong, being able to push
Yeah,
eights, and rebuff and save itself. As Sett's
absolutely.
deck is very power taxing. I'd be interested to see if Sett start to play, a one of Seal, maybe even a two of Seal.
Mm-hmm.
So we do see
Just to
the
try
C
and
coming
counteract
down.
it.
Oh no,
Potentially leaving one for the unguard, like you said.
I want to say
But
I
then
saw an
again, you
Aurora.
gotta be afraid of the crackback. And in the Master Yi play, oh, what do I? I think it depends on what your hand is, but if I have Aurora in hand now, I'm probably slamming the Aurora down because then that at
Well,
least
we're only on
gives me the
8.
opportunity. We're only on 8, yeah, that's right, that's right, yeah, that stinks because dazzling would allow him to obviously establish a board, potentially bring out Dead Bloom, take out Cythria. If the set comes back in next turn taking Dead Bloom, then you can bring out the Master Yi to crack back on the crackback. But sadly, he was only at 8 for all of his ramping. So of course we do see the chosen champion Sett or Master Yi come out instead, moving into Windswept Hillock. So it is a 6 might Master Yi against a 2 might Cythria currently.
Yeah,
And then
and
I would not expect to see any buff cards come out. The Sett player is fully tapped out and only has 4 runes. He does have 2 buffs, so theoretically he can call to glory,
we opt to save the
but he
Cythria.
opt to save the Cythria. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed.
So I would imagine
I
we
don't
want
know
to
if
pump this brawler next turn, and if we have something like a pit rookie, we can
mhm,
100% take this Yi.
for sure, for sure. Again,
Save
I just have
this.
to be careful on my crackback. Yeah, I'm very surprised about saving that Cythria. You're already kind of down in runes. I don't know how much value that Cythria is really gonna give you at this point in the game.
Cythria would, so if he's expecting something like a Dead Bloom next turn, or even an Aurora next turn, if we can take the
Hmm.
Yi,
Hmm.
saving the Cythria would net you 2 full points, because you can take the Obelisk, and then you'll hold the
Very true.
Obelisk more than likely come down on the
Very,
set. So there is
absolutely, absolutely.
1 rune for 2 points. I think most people would take that trade.
For sure, for sure. Very interested to see. I'm assuming that is exactly what he's going to do. I would assume Cythria takes Obelisk, and we do see the Brawler attempt to take out the Master Yi.
Yep. All we need is any pump spell,
Hmm.
any
Any
preferably
buff?
pit rookie. This is
Yeah.
a hidden blade. It looks like. Okay.
Mhm. Interesting. Looking for greens. Potential defy.
If he does defy here, it would take him off of Aurora next turn. Also,
True. Very
granted,
true.
his opponent does not know what list he's on yet. We don't even know
Yeah.
what list he's on
Yeah.
yet.
Yes, sir. The hesitation though could be big. Because like you said, yeah, like you said, it could take him out of dazzling range.
Yeah, and then I imagine
I don't
him.
know if I would go into. I think I would have done it the opposite. I think if I'm brawler, I would have gone into Obelisk and had Cythria take Windswept. Just because I'm assuming if you do dazzling and or um, first mate ready to. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. I was gonna say I would be afraid that seeing a Deadloom come down to take Windswept away from Sett would be huge because not only do you take out their current problem card and then move over potentially next turn, but now Deadloom's currently offline, and he didn't even need to use the Sett Legend ability to save him. And we, of course, do see the Deadloom come down. Very good play by the Sett player to save his Sett by backing off. Now he does have the ability to hit him back on the crackback, which I think is going to be huge.
Yep, and we do let this Scythia die this time. I think this is
Mhm.
correct.
Yeah, for sure.
Scythia already scored us the point. We do have a hidden. It's probably a Zonia's.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think E is on anything like Pocket Cub or Block.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it.
So something we do have to think about. Granted, if we can get this brawler up to 12,
Mm-hmm.
we'll be pretty safe. You know, E does have one rune up, so stuff like On Guard would force the trade. Zonia's would force the, you know,
But they can both save each other. No, I guess they couldn't save each other because
Sett would not be buffed.
Sett would not be buffed.
Ooh, we have the
Oh,
Showstopper into the
showstopper into
Windswept.
windswept. Very good play. Very good play. I think if you have Defy, this is where you hit it.
Yeah, I think this is definitely fishing for Defy. So if this goes through, we
Yeah.
can pretty reasonably say he doesn't have Defy in hand,
Agreed.
or
Agreed.
or he's scared of maybe Primal Strength, which we did see early, maybe a Call to Glory. I still would be a little wary of this brawler going into the one set and then going, getting a buff, eating the buff, go to 12, ganking into the dead bloom because
For sure. Exactly. Exactly.
like we said, the one on guard is really scary. Now, if we do have something like a Pit Ricky where we can eat the buff and then go back to 13, then we would be 100% safe. But
Uh-huh.
just some things to think about.
This is probably gonna be the most important turn in this game. This is really big right here.
We are thinking. I did see. I think we have a charm in hand, which right now it's not doing too much. That's the part about the brawler is it's so hard. It's so resilient with being able to save itself every
Yeah.
turn because of the boss leader or legend ability. So
Yeah, it's very good. It's a very good card. Oh,
and it did resolve, so we will get buff on
Riot
our
does
set.
go through. Yeah, buff Sett, point scored for conquering on Windswept. And of course, because it was moved off an ability, it is still ready, so he is able to gank over from Windswept into Obelisk.
And we Sett is putting the E on better have this on guard. So
Yeah, absolutely.
which I don't think is
This is
incorrect, but
I will say, not going in unbuffed is bold.
yep, here's the Zonias that we
Yep,
expected.
good call. Zonius does come out. And
We
he
do
does
have
have it. Oh,
Do we
no.
have Call to Glory? Is the next question.
I was
Or
going to
do
say
we-
there's no buffs, but he does have more than enough open.
Yeah, Call to Glory here would be almost mandatory to save your set. We could also have Hidden Blade,
Yeah,
which
for
is
sure.
this feels.
Yeah. Oh, no.
That was just a little brutal.
Yeah, I think that it was like you said. I think he was very much like force you to have you on guard, but not buffing. It definitely feels a little unfortunate.
Yeah. Oh, we do have the Pit Ricky.
Oh,
No.
why? Order, brother.
So that was kind of a.
Yeah, that hurts. That definitely hurts.
I think our opponent he's mentioning that like Sith votes itself. What are we talking about Pit Ricky? But Pit Ricky can't target itself, so.
Yeah, correct. Oh, that hurts. That hurts a
Yeah,
lot.
I think if we sequence that turn slightly better, this would have been a very commanding turn for us, having our set
For
be
sure.
buffed, not dying to the Dead Bloom, keeping the buff. More than likely, it would have died to Dead Bloom push plus Charm, and then we're in the same boat, but now we still have the Charm in hand, so it's, obviously taking resources out of your opponent, and forcing them to have it is always, what we want to be doing, but...
And also, it's things we can't see their hand because seeing something like if he potentially had all the pieces he had plus a challenge, obviously buff the set, save the set, and then it would still maintain all the buffs. You can challenge the Dead Bloom and the set, but now it just moves right back into Windswept with all of the runes in the world. We do see Catalyst. He's currently he's not at 12, so he does get the channel. And just the Poro, yeah. So no dazzling, I guess.
Okay, so nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
He's only had 3. We can, potentially go to 6 this turn. I don't really think we're walking over this Dead Bloom, but there is a world. I don't think we live in it.
Yeah. Yeah, losing the set really hurts. I think we still know he has a primal strength in hand, though, right? So he can at least attempt to kill the Dead Bloom, but it's going to take a couple of his guys.
The primal strength would play into Defy.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that card is defiable when Falling Star is not, for some reason.
Yeah, of course, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Sith moves in obelisk. I've been
yeah.
seeing a lot of set players running the bird now. Very interested.
Um, I
A
can't.
magic hitting card at obelisk.
I can't say I'm too much of a fan of the bird.
Uh huh.
Um,
Especially in this stage of the game.
yeah. Excuse me. I do think Set's already kind of inflated on two drops, and like
For
pretty
sure.
decent two drops too. You know, we have Scythia, we have Pit Ricky, we have there's one more that I'm forgetting.
Baiting out the hidden blade. Oh, and it does have discipline on the attack. I think the Master Yi player is very much wanting to just take this. He's playing right in. Obviously, I mean, he kind of has to because either way, Scythia is definitely going to die. So he hidden blades his own Scythia. If he killed the Poro, it wouldn't really matter too much because Dead Bloom is just going to gank over anyway.
Yep.
But now he does not control any battlefield whatsoever. Master Yi sitting there with 10 runes up in control of both battlefields. Very good position for the E player.
They are only at 5 though, so they can't win. They can't threaten a win next turn. We
That's
do
fair.
hide
That's fair.
presumably another Zonias. So if Set
Mm-hmm.
can just take this obelisk and then play for a setup turn, you
Mm-hmm.
know, maybe it can take the game the turn after. So do you play a Kiana?
I think expecting for definitely assuming Poro is going to be gone, and then crack back next turn with the Kiana to conquer and draw. All right, back to Set. And then how many is that? Was that 4 open? I think maybe 5.
5. I don't think we paid for the Kiana. Because we played Discipline. Oh, no, yeah, we did. I apologize.
Uh, all right.
So, lines at second half, we can have Brawler. We can push. Any pump spell would take the Poro, assuming they don't have a response to it. I think you definitely pump in, like, in your. Before you move. That way you don't
For
just get
sure.
blown out by
For sure.
Defy. Um,
Yeah.
you know, another
That was
Brawler
very
plus, like,
good.
Showstopper plus First Mate. First Mate would obviously be really good because then you don't have the window to get punished by Defy. They can't defy First Mate while they can defy Showstopper. So some of those cards to look out for. I think we are 2 Hidden Blades down.
Yeah. What, 8? Harness
Oh,
Dragon. Good drop. Good drop. Of course,
okay.
Deadloom happily paying the deflect cost. Absolutely. But we do see a. Yep,
Zonias.
there it is. Those Sonias.
So we do get the
Two.
Steadbloom off of the Windswept, which is pretty good.
If that
Now,
was the case, I'm a little surprised he wouldn't attempt to take the Poro first and then reinforce by putting Harness Dragon onto that battlefield after they retake it. Um,
I
but I think he
honestly,
was more hyper focused on just taking out the Dead Bloom.
I didn't even hate harnessing the Poro. It saves you on a deflect cost. It
True.
it realistically
Potentially baits out the Zonias anyway.
it might bait out Azonias. Even if we don't bait the Azonias, like your opponent's only going to be able to go to 7 next turn anyway.
True.
So
True.
them having the Deblim in base or on battlefield doesn't really matter in my opinion.
Mhm.
Whereas going to being able to go to 7 or even 8, I also find it interesting you didn't push the Soaring Scout to get the ramp on this
Oh,
kill. We do have White Flame
yep.
buffing
Bringing down the
Kiana.
Kiana. Very, very good. Very good. I think that's what the set player was trying to play around was, and that's why he kept the 3 units in base because a white flame coming down at this stage of the game would and successfully clearing a battlefield would be very huge.
Yeah,
Opting to save the first mate, interesting.
I wonder if we have a stratagem in hand or an Imperial Decree.
That'd be fun. That'd be really hype.
Yeah, I
Grand
think
stratagem right here would be awesome.
we
I
do.
highly doubt this Master Yi player has a win wall for set.
We
So
do
grand stratagem
only
here would be fun.
we do only have one order rune also, so we would have to flip double order, which we should know our rune deck at this point. But
Heart of the cards. He's got it. He's got it.
opting to bring the Poro back. Opting to bring the
Cool.
Poro back is interesting because you just lose one might.
Mm-hmm.
You gain your Lee ability, but Poro has shield, so it would be 11 versus 10.
Yep.
We're
You'd be
gonna
good.
flip double order runes here. Step 1.
Oh, there's one. There's one. There's one.
Okay.
Oh, he's different.
And then
Oh, he's different.
then we're gonna slam stratagem, step 2.
Do it. Do it.
And I believe that is the only out, and I didn't even
That'd
do
be
the
so
math. I
awesome.
assume that's enough.
I don't know. That one battlefield's husky because it's
Oh,
what Deadloom, Kiana, Pit Rookie, and a buff.
Devlin Kiana Pit Ricky buff.
Was that 15? I think.
2, 6, 7. It is 15. We can put 8 plus 11, 8, 11, 17. That ties with discipline. And then the Hawk and the Pit Ricky can clear the White Flame at that point.
Does it clear? Or does it trade?
It clears because Hawk and Pit Ricky would be 7 and 6, so 13. Oh, well,
Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no.
what is this? Hidden Blade?
Is that a challenge? I think it's a challenge because it was orange going back.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Kiana and Dragon. This discipline's gonna go crazy. Oh, Defy. Okay.
And then I don't think there's an out for our set player here on
Yeah.
4 runes.
Seeing a grand stratagem there would have been awesome. I'd have lost my mind.
Yes. I think that is also kind of a new iteration on some set decks is playing the stratagem. I don't think that is
Yeah,
something they
for
were on
sure.
initially.
For sure.
So we do have
Yeah.
Showstopper.
Ooh, okay, okay.
Um,
Buffing the dragon.
I respect playing playing your cards.
Sure. He can only move one thing though, right? He
Yeah,
can't move in.
he can't move multiple units in, so this dragon's going to.
And he can't just buff it and leave it, right? He's now forced to move it before he does anything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we can buff pump, like we have Call to Glory maybe. Trade with the Dead Bloom. Push. I just don't see a way for this to.
Yeah. I feel like he said. I think he's just playing it out so he doesn't scoop it up.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Is this Call to Glory? Have another Showstopper. Have no. We would be one short from like Showstopper plus first mate. And I think we only have 2 cards.
So
in hand.
he's doing Pit Rookie and Kiana activate Sett save dragon. But now this obviously turns on Master Yi on Dead Bloom. Oh my goodness, dude, this deck.
And then we put. Yeah, and the Sitter comes on the fist bump, and so that's still like pretty close. I think the one turn where we did have the Pit Ricky definitely was a rough turn.
Yeah, for sure.
Some sequencing, and like we said, this tournament is very early on, so expecting perfect play is expecting perfect play even at a high level event is not always realistic because people have nerves, people mess up, people make mistakes, but. I do think our set player played very well. I would have loved to see a stratagem flipped off the top. That would have been sick.
Yeah, I got really excited for it. I'm like, especially when like the stars aligned and he had the 2 yellow runes come out. I'm like, oh, here we go, here we go. And much respect to him for playing it out because he really did like play it to the very end. And I definitely respect players doing that.
For sure, and hopefully he got some sort of prize for making it to the finals.
For sure.
I would imagine if your first place is a chair and I think 50 cash, 50 store
50.
credit.
Yep. Yeah, pretty good prizing. Good prizing for sure.
Amazing prizing. I would expect second place to get something as well. So, but yeah. Definitely great job to all these players. Thank y'all for coming out to this event. If you are watching this and you were one of the players that came out, they will Red Riot Games will be hosting more events in the future very similar to this. I believe they're Summoner Skirmishes, I believe is what the name of the events are.
Yep, the bigger ones, yep.
Yep.
So if you guys are in the Ontario area and you guys want to play some good high-level Riftbound and an awesome card shop, be sure to stop in and check them out. And of course, let them know that we sent you and that you enjoyed our casting, of course.
For sure. And then one side note to that is if you do go to their Summoner Skirmishes, they will also be hosting side events on top of that. So there will be plenty of Riftbound to play, even if you do not do well in your main event. But as always,
that's cool. That's really cool.
Yep, they are killing it with this
yes, sir.
game.
Yes, sir.
So, but thanks everybody for watching. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time.